Hi guys, it's Katie here again from Creativa, and I have a new project that I want to show you today. This is the Desk Folio. The Desk Folio comes as a set of Svg files and also a set of printable templates. I will do a flip through that you can refer to so you can see what it looks like before you decide you would like to make one or not. But this is what the Svg files will look like. So they'll come with pink pieces and blue pieces. The blue pieces are the pieces that I cut out of cardstock, and they've got some score lines on them, and so you'll need to go back and look at the video on how to attach the score lines to your pieces if you don't already know how to do that. And the pink piece on top is with my mat, so I can cut that out of my design paper, whatever I'm using. So today for the cardstock pieces, I'm using this craft cardstock, and I'm just showing you because I want you to see that it's 65 pound or 176 GSM, so it's not really super thick cardstock, and I'm using the craft cardstock, but you can use whatever colour you like, and I have done these in black and blue and craft, so that, you know, you use whatever you like. And then this is what the printable templates look like. So it's exactly the same pieces, it's just that I've had to split it up into a lot more pages because of the size of the printable page. But they are exactly the same, and they also have the mats. The mats are just separate on separate pages instead of on the Svg file sitting on top. But I will refer to this to show you which pieces I've used while I'm making it, but I'll also put a list in the description box below of each of the pieces that I've used, how many of them I've cut, etc. So you don't have to try and remember and write it down. Okay, so let's start with making the cover. So for the cover, I have cut out two of the blue pieces that are sitting under here. I've cut out two of those out of chipboard. So my chipboard that I've cut it out of, let me find my bits. Maybe I should separate them a little bit. This is my bits and pieces for my cover. So I have cut out some bits out of chipboard. I'll find my words. So I've cut two of these out of chipboard. So that's my cover, and that's that little blue bit under there that you can't quite see. And then I have cut out two of the mats. That's these two here. And then I also have my pattern paper that I'm going to use. So this one is called Patchwork Pages, I think, and it's from Tracy Fox of Love Junk Journals, and I'll put a link in the description box below to this kit if you're interested. I think it's beautiful and perfect for this project. So I think it actually is meant to go that way, but I've been using it this way and I think that's fine too. So that's what I've got for the cover. For the cover, I also have cut out two of these spine pieces out of my craft cardstock. So they are somewhere in here in this little pile here. Right, so I have cut out two of my spine pieces out of craft cardstock, and that's those there, and I've already inked up all of the score lines, and I've also stitched around my spine. You don't have to do that, I just think that it looks really nice, so I have done that. And I've also cut out two of the closure pieces here, so that's these two here. So one I have stitched around and one I haven't stitched around, but I've got two of those, and as I say, it'll be in the description box. There's also mats for each of the spine and the closure, but I'm not using those because I quite like the look of the craft, but if you want to, you certainly can. Okay, so let's start by making the cover. So I'll just put these spine pieces to the side and the closure pieces to the side, and I'll show you what I've done. So I've got two pieces of this chipboard. I think this is actually the back of a paper pad or something like that. And I've already covered one, which is what we're going to do now. I tried to do as much as I could ahead of time to save time. So what I'm going to do is just cover this with this little piece of paper here. I'm going to use a Yoo-hoo glue stick, I think. So I'll just wind this up and I'm just going to cover this in glue. I mean, you could use liquid glue if you want to. I did my first one with liquid glue and you could sort of see the little raised lines on top when I stuck the paper down. I think that's probably my error, but I have been using glue stick since then and it's been fine. So I'm going to flip that over and just place that down on here, about in the middle. Make sure it's fairly straight and then just stick it down like so. And then I need some scissors. I'm just going to trim those little corner pieces out like so. I know there's a fancy way of doing this. I never do it. Okay, so that's those there. I've spent much of today trying to get prepped and ready so that this video doesn't drag on too much, but my videos generally do tend to be kind of long. I'm sorry about that, but I really want to show you how you can do the project. I want to show you everything. So I'm just folding those bits of paper in a bit so I can get a nice sharp crease along there, and then I'm going to put some glue on this little tab here and fold it over and glue it down like so. Where's my bone folder gone? I had to clean up. Never a good idea. Just make sure that's really well adhered, and then this side like so. I'm going to just fold that over like that, press that down like that. I'm kind of trying to push it to the opposite side, so try and push it that way so that it's nice and tight up against that top section there. And then I'm not too worried that that's sticking up because we're going to put a mat on that anyway, so no fear. And push this one up and then press it over and get that a burnish down. Looks good. And then this one, just do the same on this side, and then that's done. So I have been making stacks of these. This one will be my 5th one that I've made. I absolutely love them. I think they make the best gifts, and I'm sort of trying to make a few for Christmas presents, because I think they're just so super handy and handmade. Okay, so that's my cover. And just make sure that's nice and flat. Looks good. I think that's the end of the glue stick for the minute. So I have got 2 of those ready to go. I'm just going to pop those aside for a minute. We don't need them right at the moment. The same with these. These mats are going to go on this side like this, but we're going to do that bit later. So we can pop those to the side. So that's that part of the cover done. Then we're going to have a go at the spine. So I have got 2 of these spine pieces, and what we're going to do is fold it over, and I'm going to fold those 2 tabs in here like this, and I'm going to cover that in glue. And the same with this one here. What we're going to do is put glue in on all of those score lines, all along there, and we're going to attach them together and glue it down so that just the flaps on the sides are loose. So this is going to be my back side, And this one's going to be my back side because my stitching went a bit funny. So I'll put that at the back so that no one sees that. So I'm just going to put some glue. So I'm going between each, this far score line and this far score line. I'm going to put some glue on those. In between those two. I'm going to make sure that I get plenty where that stitching is. Feels like it's been a while since I've done a video, so I apologise if this seems a bit weird. It feels a bit weird. I need to sort of settle into it. Okay, so pretty happy with that. So now I'm just going to line these two up. Of course I don't have glue on those little flaps on either side, so they won't stick together, but if I line those up and press down, just going to press down lightly for a minute until I'm happy with it. And when I'm happy with it, I'm going to give it a really firm press. I'm really going to give it a good burnish where those stitch lines are. So as I say, you don't have to stitch around there. I just really like the finish. And a bit of glue coming out the edge. That's okay. Okay. I'll just make sure my flaps open and they're not glued shut. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to decide which is my best side. I think this is my best side, and that's going to be my outside, and that's going to be my front section, and this is my back because I've got all the stitching going on there. So then we can grab our covers. So one's going to be this one's my front and this one's my back. So I'm going to decide which way they're going to go. I don't think it matters too much. Maybe that one should be my front because that looks sort of centered there like that. Let's do that. So I'm going to attach just this one front section to this front section here like this. Do you think I should ink around it? I think I should. Just a second, I'm just going to do some inking around the edges. Yeah. Okay, so I've just inked around those edges there. So now I'm going to just put some glue on this tab here, just the front one, not the back one at this stage. So I'm just going to put some glue around here. Like so, badly as it turns out. Ooh, I got the wobbles. Okay, and then I'm just going to slide this in here and fold it over and make sure I'm happy with where it's sitting. Yeah, so it's shoving it up against here, pushing it up against here as far as I can, and then I'm going to press that down. And I'm going to give it a good burnish so that I know that it's attached. And that's my front, and then I'm going to do the same with my back. So I'm going to put some glue on this tab all the way along here. I'm just paying a lot of attention to that stitching because I really want it to stick down. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same with this one. So this is the way it's going to be, yes. Shove it up against there. And then I'm going to press it down and make sure it's fairly lined up with the one on the other side. Okay. I'll give that a press. Let me have a look. Am I happy with that? Yes. Alright, and I'm going to give that a press. Make sure it's well adhered. Get that glue off the bottom. Okay, so that is basically our cover. And when we turn it over, we haven't put the mats on here yet and we've still got these two fluffy bits. We'll just make sure that's really well pressed down. So I don't want to put the mats on yet because we're going to put some things on each side, and or at least on this side we need to worry about, and I sort of want them covered up by the mat. So now what am I doing here? I'm going to grab myself this piece here, this large expandable pocket base, one of those. I've got one of those somewhere, which is this piece here. So when I designed it with these tabs on in case you didn't want it to be expandable. Then you would just use those tabs, but because we want it to be expandable, I'm actually going to cut those off and we're going to put some expandable sides on. So with this large pocket base, I'm going to just grab my cutting board, and I have got score lines along there that my Cricut's put on for me, and I'm just going to line that up on here and here. And I'm just going to trim them off. And the same with this one. I'm going to line that up. I'm like, whoops, cannot see. And trim that off. Okay. Now I'm just going to quickly ink down those edges. Right, so I've just inked around those edges of this piece, and we've already cut those tabs off. So now I'm just going to bring back my cover, and what I want to do is fold that tab over, and I'm going to stick this piece along the edge there, right up against the edge like that, with that tab underneath. So let's do that. And this is just one way you could put this folio together. There are lots of different ways, this is just the way that I have been doing it lately, but I've done a few different options. So I'm going to line this up on the edge of my cover like so, there and along there, and make sure it's lined up really nicely. See, it's a bit wonky there. That might be my cutting. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. I'm just going to give that a press like that, and then I'll open it up and give it a press. And this is why I haven't put the mat in yet, but we can now, because I wanted to cover this up with my mat. So here's my mat, and this is my mat for my cover. So it's just going to slide in like that, which looks pretty neat, and then it covers up that tab. So this is it's just a piece of, I don't know, it's just a background page that I got from somewhere, or I might have designed it myself on the computer. I absolutely can't remember, but it's a great just plain background for when you don't want anything fancy going on. So it's not a part of Tracy's kit. Okay, so then I'm just going to line this one up, press it down. I'm really more worried about it being lined up along there. There we go. Give that a good, nice burnish. It looks nice and neat now. And then I can glue this side tab on this side down, so I might as well do it while I'm there. So I'll just put some glue on this tab all the way down. Like so. Alright, and then stick that one down. I've got a little bit of stitching there. I'll just get rid of that. Okay, and press that one down. And then I'm just going to give that one a good burnish too. like so. Ta-da! Excellent. So I'm going to put the mat on this side as well, but before that, I think I should think about this closure. So I'm doing a closure like this, and it's got this metal, I think it's a handbag catch. So I have already made several of these that don't have this at all. It's just plain, and it stays together just fine. But I will show you how I did this in case that's how you would like to do it too. So I have got somewhere in my pile of stuff those little handbag metal closures. They look like this, if I can get it apart. So one side's an innie and one side's an outie, and I think the innie goes on here and the outie goes on the closure. At least that's how I've been doing it. Okay, so I have to think about this. I always stuff this up. I think I should. I want to, let's start with this little guy here. I want it to be in the middle, so I guess I need to do a bit of measuring. Sad but true. So I work in centimetres, and this is 23 centimetres. So I'm going to say that about 11.5 11.6, 11.75 is about there. Oh, my pencil didn't work. 11.5, 11.6, 11.75 is about there, give or take. Now I can't see that mark. It's there. Okay. And then I'm going to find my half mark on this too, just to help me out here. So my halfway point here is there. I'll just put a little mark there. Okay, so my closure is going to go, I'm going to line that up and that up roughly, and it's going to go about like that. That's my plan. But before we do that, I'm going to put this little innie bit in here. So I'm actually going, I've got two here. I've got one with the stitching on and one without the stitching on. This is my closure pieces. And the stitching one's going to be my top piece, and my bottom piece is going to go, I'm going to put it in like that, stick them together. But I need to sandwich this little guy in there. So on this side, I need to decide where it's going to go. It's got these little prongs. So I figured this is the really time-consuming bit. I'm going to roughly put it about there, I think. So I put some little, I pressed it down to get those little teeth marks. And then I'm going to find a craft knife and stab some little holes, some little slits in there for the legs, the little prong things to go through. I'm going to slide that in there like that, like so. And then they have these little discs that go on top, so I'm going to put one of those on top, and then I'm going to close those prongs up. Oh, they're really tough. Okay, just like so. And then I'm going to put glue over this whole thing and stick the top bit on. It might have been a bit... Okay, so now I'm going to put glue over this whole thing. Right the way around. Make sure, oops, make sure I get it on there. Yeah, and as I say, you don't have to do a closure at all. I've made one with a closure, and then all the rest of mine have been without a closure, because I was running out of these little bag, metal bag thingies, and I wanted to save one so I could show you how to do it if you wanted to do it like this. But you don't need to put one on at all, or you can do a different kind of closure. lots of options. This is just one that I've provided for you. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure that that's really well stuck together. Like so. Flip over, make sure it's stuck down here. Really want to make sure it's stuck right there. Okay, so now this is kind of the tricky bit because I need to line this up along here. So there's my center point, there's my center point, and then I want it to be, you know, in line with this score line here. So basically like that. Now I'm just trying to press it down and I'm hoping that it will make a little indent in the surface. Is there one? Yeah, and it's actually right where I put those little that little mark. So go me. So then I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to press it down right on here where those little legs are, little prongs, to make a mark. And then I'm going to see if I can see where they are. There's one, and there's one. And then I need to make a little hole in here again, and I feel like it might be a good idea to get out my cutting mat so that I don't stab a hole in my desk. And I'm just going to put a little hole in here. Sorry this is so time consuming. And there. And if you've seen me do this again, you can just seen me do this before, you can just skip forward. Okay, and then I'm going to stick that through there. Grab that little disc. Oops, I nearly dropped it. Pop that on top. And then again, I've got to try and close those feet up. Like that. Okay, so then we've got this bit and this bit, like so, and then on the back you need to attach it on the back side. So I'm going to flip over to the back, and again we're going to find some halfway marks. So this was about here, and this is, really hard with the glare to see, but I think that's about there. And then basically I'm just going to try and line those two up like that. Probably be helpful if this line came out a bit more, I have to say. It needs to come out to about here. Okay, so then I'll line that up with that. And again, I'm keeping it just off this score line here. I'm going to put a heap of glue on this side, along there. I always get a bit panicky when I'm doing things like this on camera, that I'm going to mess it up, because I frequently do. Okay, I'm going to line those two up, press that down, whoop, like that. And just open it up so I can give it a good press. I'm going to get my little razor on those two little marks. There we go. And then burnish, 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 burnish. Right, and that's our closure. Make sure it folds over, and it does. Right, so I'm just going to leave that to dry. But now that we've put this in, we can put a mat over the top of that. So here's our other mat for a cover. It's just going to go over like that. So let's just go ahead and do that. Whoops, glue stick going flying. So this glue, this clear glue that I'm using, in Australia it's just from Spotlight. It's called Crafter's Choice. And then in the little other little bottle that I've got, the white glue, it's Tiger Grip glue by Helmer, and I also get that at Spotlight. They're probably my favourite glues, and of course the old Yoo-Hoo glue stick, also from Spotlight, because I know you can buy other glue online, but I'm far too impatient to wait for online things for things like glue. Not patient at all. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Just going to make sure it's stuck down on there. Give that a good press. I'll wait for some things online, but just boring things like glue, I can't bother to. I can't bother with the waiting. Okay, I need to put a little bit more glue under there. Right there. Okay, let's try that. Now it's going to ooze out everywhere. Better too much than not enough. Yeah, it's all over my hands. Ugh. Okay, and it's gone all stringy. But there we go, and it doesn't matter because you actually won't see that gluey mess that I just made, because we're going to put something else there. Okay, so now we can glue this side down. So let's go ahead and do that. Along here. I think I might keep this one for me, because I do love this paper by Tracy. And I'm partway through making another one using the same paper pack, but it's in sort of green colours, and I'm thinking my mum would really like that one. Okay, so there is our cover, and then snip. How's that? Looks good, huh? Hi guys, it's Katie here. I just thought I'd tell you that this tutorial got really long, and so I've chopped it up into 3 pieces. So this is a really abrupt ending to the tutorial, I'm sorry, and then there's a really abrupt beginning to the rest of the videos because I chopped them up. But this is what it looks like when we're finished. So persevere, and this will, in the next tutorial, it'll start getting put together. But I apologise for my rough editing, but I hope you stick around for the next bit. I'll see you guys again soon. Bye. Bye.